Hello and welcome to my Woolly PhD. My name is Liz Scuff and this is a weekly vlog about what I'm currently learning and making in my anthropology PhD all about wool here in Iceland. Now this week is a cracker, frankly. Actually, before I get into it, I should explain the background noise. I am at Prjónagerði, which is like a knitting festival in the north of Iceland in a little town called Blönduós, and it's what you can see in the background, but I'm not filming it so that you can see anybody else because I think that's a bit rude. So that's the background noise. It is probably a couple of hundred women, mostly Icelandic, not all, chatting about wool and other things in their lives, things that are important, things that aren't, and generally I think having a very nice time. There's a lot of knitting going on, a lot of buying of wool, a lot of ogling wool, and a few other kind of wool adjunct or wool adjacent products. And I have a few of those to share of things that I bought today. So this will eventually turn into a haul video, so if you don't like those, I'm going to save it for the end and you can stop watching then. But what have I been thinking about this week? I've been thinking about zoonotic diseases, which are diseases that are naturally transmitted from non-human vertebrates to humans. And I've been thinking about this because I got one. I have contracted ORF from bottle feeding lambs. And as my daughter wrote to me in a text when I told her about it, #worth it, #would do it again. That being said, the disease progression is probably not at its worst yet, so we will see if I am laughing in a couple of weeks. So ORF appears like a weird kind of hard blister, usually on hands, which is where I have one, and I'm not going to show you because it is not that kind of channel. But I just thought it was like a weird blister at first, and then one of the farmers saw me trying to kind of treat it and said, "Oh, I think that's slaughterbolla," which translates as slaughter pox, because it's common to contract it working in slaughterhouses. Now, it's not a major health issue, so there's no stress there, but I did get very excited about it at first. As I said before, the novelty is slightly wearing off as it gets a bit bigger, gets a bit more painful, a bit more inconvenient. It's about 8 millimeters in diameter now, and the norm is like 2 to 3 centimeters, which I cannot even imagine, but can go up to 5 centimeters. So we'll see. It usually sort of resolves on its own in 3 to 6 weeks. There's nothing you should do about it. Now, if you're probably tempted to go do a Google search now, I would do that too, to see what they look like. The ones you're going to see, they look much worse than mine. But don't go look if you don't like, gross medical images. So, yeah. Funny side story, but not only a side story. I went to see the movie The Sheep Detectives this week, and I loved it. So it's based on a book called 3 Bags Full by Leonie Swan, that I've raved about this book a couple of times on this channel before, and I expected to hate the movie because it's so common that when you really love a book, the movie version is just, so disappointing. But I wasn't. It was great. I'll watch it a second time, maybe a third. Anyway, in the film, there's the lead ram is called Sir Richfield, and it's voiced by Patrick Stewart. Thank you very much for casting, whoever did that. Anyway, Sir Richfield announces at some point, "I have ORF." And now this actually isn't in the book, and so I was quite so surprised. I said, "Oh, I do too," to the hilarity of the friends I was there with. I did think, what a weird synchronicity. All right, so back to zoonotics. So I was quite curious about my excitement, right? Like, why am I so excited about contracting a viral disease? But I was thinking, this is anthropological gold in some way. And so I kind of went questing in the anthropological literature about the sort of works that are related to zoonotics and what are people doing with that. And one of the things I learned, not in anthropology, I think, well, it's in there too, right? But that zoonotic diseases account for about 60% of human diseases and for about 70 plus of the new diseases that we're getting. It's a lot, actually. So there isn't a lot of work done on this in medical anthropology and related to global sort of health, but it's not particularly what I'm so interested in. I'm much more interested in the sort of multi-species angle and the way in which sort of shared disease pathogens help us think about human and non-human animal relationships and about how these pathogenic vectors are actors in our social worlds, right? So by getting off, I've learned new things about the people that I live with, their attitudes, their experiences, their care responses, their own personal histories about it. You know, that one of them's never had it, one's had it before. Also learning a lot more about sheep well-being, and I now have a whole new vista of temporary nicknames to spontaneously generate when I see these little lambs every day. Like yesterday, they were Poxy Fluff Balls. It's a lot of fun. But also my interactions with the sheep are now shaping the way in which I hold feed buckets, because it's kind of in the crook of a finger, and so I can't hold things here, I have to hold them on the next knuckle down, so it's kind of changing my own physicality, what I can and can't do. And then it's better off if I'm wearing gloves for some of these things. And so this new virus in my body is changing how I enact my daily tasks and how I'm living in the world. Creates a minor problem when because I have to write for really long periods most days, and that's difficult. I also have now some sort of extra fun stories to share, so it's become a social tool as well. And it's a whole new way in which sheep are now part of my life and part of my body, and we're kind of sharing this this viral experience. It also reminds me why I love anthropology so much, right? Is that we just spend so much time exploring things that are so taken for granted in everyday life and letting them reveal things about our world that's kind of hidden in plain sight, because they're just exactly that, right? They're so everyday. And so the lambs and I now share something in common physiologically. We both have this ORF virus, we both have the same strain in our systems, poking our immune responses. And this made me think about another scene in the film. And these aren't major spoilers, they're minor spoilers, so skip ahead if that bothers you, right? But towards the end of the film, a new herd of sheep are introduced to the main detective herd. And so Richfield, as the lead ram, sort of walks up to them to say hello. And the other ram just pokes its tongue out and says, bleh. It's hysterical. And sheep literally do make this sound, oh my goodness, as a form of bah. So cute. And so Richfield, because in sheep, ORF is mostly around the mouth and in the mouth. And so the sheep poking its tongue out was showing that it had ORF. And so Richfield says, oh, you have ORF too? In this kind of relieved, bonding, something in common kind of tone, like this sense of, oh, we're going to get along really, really well. And so it made me think, wow, yeah, shared viral infections create new social dynamics, right? And can redefine or add new elements to existing social relations. And they really challenge the idea of boundaries between the human and non-human as well, like what's mine, what's yours, what do we share, what don't we, how are we different. And so, yeah, I think it was a really great synchronicity to kind of realise that's what this blister was. Oh, and it's in this film, and the way that the film dealt with or used the viral pathogen as a little subplot or storyline. It wasn't the main thing, but it was a really interesting way in which they were using a virus to tell a story as well. So I think, anyway, I'm still very excited about it. I'm sure this is going somewhere. I don't know where yet, but it's been a highlight of the past couple of weeks. It's something that I find particularly interesting about ORF, right? It doesn't trigger big care responses in either species. Like, you don't have to do anything about it with sheep. And there is no treatment, actually. There's just, like most viral things, there's no treatment for it. But because it's such a minor thing and it doesn't really affect, it doesn't affect meat quality, it doesn't affect safety in animals, maybe it has minor kind of quality of life impacts. The same for humans, right? So it doesn't trigger big responses. And it's this kind of low drama scene that I think is particularly interesting. These really below the radar kinds of cohabitation strategies that we might make with this virus. It's not a big deal, but these little things that I think is just really interesting. How do we get along and get on with life with these with viruses in our systems, and how are other animals that we share these viruses with also doing this? So this is what I've been learning about and been very excited about this week. Is it going to become the whole thesis? Probably not, but I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. And I will share an update in a few weeks too, just if, I'll try to remember to see how it's going along, if it's getting better or getting worse. Anyway, what have I been making? My attention was just kind of distracted by this hum of chatter in the background. I hope it's not too irritating on the video. I did test it a few times. I thought, if you remember that it's just women like hanging out, knitting and adoring wool and chatting about the things we chat about doing this, mostly women, by the way, not completely, then maybe it's less annoying. Maybe it's kind of sweet. I audio recorded it for a while too. I just thought it's a really great sound. Anyway, what have I been making? So I think last video I shared with you the sock progress. So I finished those, but I gave them to the person who's getting them, so I can't show you those, and I didn't get any photos because I didn't get time to block them. So maybe I'll get some photos from the recipient over the next month. But anyway, it has meant that I've been able to get along with my cardigan, and so I've done this much. And at the moment, to be honest, it's looking a little massive, so we'll see if I've totally messed up the sizing. But if you can see, I'm enjoying this. This is going really well. I'm loving that. This is all knit with Ulterband from Uppspunni. It's a sort of an Aran weight yarn, and yeah, loving it. Very, very satisfied with the colour choices I've made there. What did I get here? Well, there's this really amazing project bag maker here called Monster Remade, and she upcycles secondhand fabrics, especially embroidered pieces, to really, really well-made project bags. Anyway, I'm here on the Saturday, and the market area opened for 2 hours yesterday, and she sold out of all but 2 of the big bags, and it was the one store that I really, really wanted to come to, and I wasn't here in time for it because we couldn't come till later. She had 2 bags left today, but one of them I really loved, and I queued up to be there when she came and opened because I was so determined. Look what I got. It's so cool. Honestly, I think the lining stuff, it's totally ugly, but that's really the charm. The outside is very beautiful, and it's got this great little denim pocket on the back. Anyway, that's lovely. And then I also got this little woven fabric thing. And then, my daughter, if you're watching, this next thing is probably for you if you want it, so don't watch if you want it to be a surprise. Give you a minute to pause. I've got this cute little purse. Isn't that sweet? So sweet. Anyway, I don't know if she sells through a website actually, but I suspect she's sold out online if she does. I don't think she does actually. Anyway, that's very cool. I'm very happy to have those. They're very popular here. And then I met this woman, Amy, and I have actually bought yarn of hers before in a store in the north, but her company's called Valkyrie Fibres, and she takes Icelandic wool and has it spun with merino, non-superwash merino. It's a really, really nice mix. Anyway, she also has some really cool graphic stuff, and I got a t-shirt, Valkyrie Fibres, cozy as hell. Look at that sheep. It's the best. It's the best. So, and I bought this from her, and this one. Very much my colours, love those. And another very exciting purchase. So it's really cool seeing some of the stalls here. Their yarn is spun at the mill that I research at, and this is one of them. So the brand is, oh, that's not right. Oh, your Alitus Utla, so it's plant dyed wool. But Not the brand name, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, the labels are really gorgeous as well. These little ram horns. So anyway, her yarn is 100% Icelandic. It's spun at Uppspunni, and then she's got a range of plant dyed colours, and so I got these, which honestly I've possibly got a bundle of this back at home. They're like classic Liz colours. But I've got a sweater pattern in mind for these, but they could also make a really good stranded colour work vest. Anyway, they're lovely and soft, and there's this way in which plant dyes there's such a muted tone to the colours. Really love those. So that's what I got. That's all I'm getting because that's enough. Oh yes, the other thing I've been making, I knew there was something else, is, well, I don't need to unwind it. So I've been hand spinning, because actually what I am doing here partly is I'm here with the Spinning Sisters, and it's a group of women from the south of Iceland who have been learning to spin together, and I don't know how long they've been going now, quite a while. So they've got an exhibition here, but we're also sitting here spinning. So I bought my new drop spindle, and so I've been spinning this Icelandic possum blend that I made today as part of just the sit and demonstrate spinning thing. So that's been fun. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm just going to keep spinning that. And the prep is not great, so it's not an easy spin because the fibre prep is not all it could be, but that's been a big part of the experiment. Anyway, I think that's this week's video done. Yeah, if you've got any great stories about zoonotic diseases that you have I mean, COVID was the big one, right, that most of us know about and probably taught us all a lot about zoonotic diseases. Or now all of a sudden I feel like I don't know if if COVID was zoonotic or not. Anyway, okay, cancel that. That might not be a fact at all. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.